Something incredible is happening beneath our feet in the Pacific Northwest. On July 18, 2025, the U.S. Geological Survey issued a red alert for the entire Cascade volcanic arc, a first in our lifetime. This isn't science fiction. It's real, and it's based on cutting-edge satellite data. New satellites have detected the ground swelling around our most famous volcanoes, Mount Rainier, Mount St. Helens, and Mount Hood, all at once. This synchronized uplift is unprecedented. The red alert isn't about panic, it's about preparation. For years we saw these volcanoes as separate giants. Now the data suggests they're connected. Teams from the USGS and NASA analyzed weeks of satellite data using InSAR technology to measure ground movement with millimeter precision. The result, a coordinated, unmistakable uplift across multiple peaks. This means a massive system of magma deep underground is stirring. Think of it like a weather forecast for volcanoes. We have a warning, and now is the time to act. The volcanoes aren't guaranteed to erupt tomorrow, but the system is active and awake. Our job is to listen, learn, and get ready. This is science in action, helping us stay safe by understanding the powerful forces shaping our world. The decision to issue this alert came after careful analysis, not on a whim. The ground is rising by mere millimeters, but from space, that's a huge signal. This is a call to action for everyone in the region. We have an unprecedented opportunity to prepare. The alert is a heads-up from our planet delivered by our best scientists. Let's use this knowledge to protect our communities. The Cascades are awake, and so must we be. For decades, we saw the Cascade volcanoes as isolated wonders, but new satellite data reveals a hidden truth. Key volcanoes in the Cascade Range are connected deep underground. Scientists now believe there are vast, interconnected magma chambers, like a giant plumbing system beneath the region. The synchronized ground swelling at Rainier, St. Helens, and Hood is no coincidence. A single, massive pulse of magma is pushing up on the crust below all three volcanoes at once. This changes everything about how we assess volcanic hazards. Instead of preparing for a single eruption, we must consider the possibility of a regional event. An eruption at one volcano could potentially trigger activity at another. The risk profile for the entire region has shifted. Scientists are racing to build new models to understand this interconnectedness. We're witnessing a new chapter in volcanology, one that could redefine how we live with these giants. The Cascades are not just a chain of peaks, they're a living, breathing supersystem. Meet the main players: Mount Rainier, Mount St. Helens, and Mount Hood. Mount Rainier towers over Washington, its summit covered in glacial ice and snow. An eruption here could unleash catastrophic mudflows, lahars, reaching communities in minutes. Mount St. Helens is infamous for its 1980 eruption, a reminder of the explosive power these volcanoes hold. It's the most active in the Cascades, capable of rapid, violent change. Mount Hood, Oregon's tallest peak, looms over Portland. While quieter in recent history, Hood's potential for lahars threatens river valleys and nearby communities. These three volcanoes are the focus of the red alert for good reason. They're the most prominent, historically active, and hazardous peaks in the most populated part of the Cascades. The synchronized swelling at all three is what makes this situation unique and serious. Understanding their individual personalities, Rainier's ice, St. Helens' explosivity, Hood's proximity to Portland, is key to preparing for what comes next. Each poses unique risks, but together, they represent the heart of the current crisis. The stakes are high for everyone living nearby. This is why scientists and emergency planners are on high alert. The time to prepare is now. How can volcanoes miles apart talk to each other? The answer lies in a vast, interconnected network of magma deep underground. Imagine a spongy reservoir of molten rock. When new magma pushes in, it pressurizes the entire system. Like a hydraulic network, pressure in one part affects the whole. This shared reservoir explains the synchronized ground swelling at Rainier, St. Helens, and Hood. If one volcano erupts, it could release pressure and trigger magma movement toward another, increasing the risk of a chain reaction. This concept, volcanic coupling, is now a top research priority. Emergency planners must now prepare for multi-volcano scenarios, not just single eruptions. A chain reaction could mean ashfall from one volcano and lahars from another, stretching resources to the limit. Understanding how pressure moves through this magmatic network is crucial. Scientists are racing to update hazard models to reflect this new reality. The stakes have never been higher. To predict the future, we must study the past. The Cascades were built by millions of years of eruptions, layer upon layer of ash and lava. The 1980 eruption of Mount St. Helens was dramatic, but not the largest. Mount Mazama's eruption 7,700 years ago created Crater Lake and blanketed North America in ash. Mount Rainier's history is marked by massive lahars like the Osceola Lahar, which buried areas now home to thousands. These events show that even quiet volcanoes can be deadly. The geological record is a warning. The forces that shape this region are still active. By studying past eruptions, we map out risk zones and prepare for what's possible. The Cascades' history is one of explosive change. The echoes of past eruptions remind us to stay vigilant. The ground beneath us is alive with possibility. When we think of eruptions, we picture rivers of lava, but in the Cascades, the real threats are different. Volcanic ash, lahars, and widespread disruption are the biggest dangers. Volcanic ash is sharp, abrasive, and can travel for hundreds of miles, causing respiratory problems and collapsing roofs. Lahars, fast-moving volcanic mudflows, can destroy everything in their path, reaching communities far from the volcano. These flows can happen with little warning and travel at highway speeds. An eruption could disrupt supply chains, displace thousands, and cripple infrastructure. The red alert gives us time to prepare for these cascading effects. It's not just about personal safety, it's about community resilience. How do we keep hospitals running? Ensure clean water? These are the questions we must answer now. Preparing for a volcanic eruption means planning for more than just the blast. It's about safeguarding our way of life. In response to the red alert, scientists have mobilized like never before. Dozens of new seismometers and GPS stations are tracking every tremor and millimeter of ground movement. Gas sensors near vents sniff for changes that signal rising magma. Sentinel-7 satellites provide near real-time ground deformation maps. Aircraft equipped with radar and thermal cameras scan for new hotspots. All this data flows into the Cascades Volcano Observatory, where scientists work around the clock. They update hazard models and communicate directly with emergency managers. New hazard maps are being rushed out, showing potential lahar paths and ashfall zones. This is a massive, coordinated effort to turn science into safety. We're watching the volcanoes closer than ever before. A red alert can feel overwhelming, but knowledge is power. We have a warning. Now is the time to prepare. Make a plan, talk with your family about evacuation routes and communication. Build a go kit with water, food, first aid, and N95 masks for ash protection. Know if you live in a lahar hazard zone and practice evacuation routes. Sign up for emergency alerts and stay informed from official sources. If ash falls, stay indoors, seal windows, and wear protective gear if you must go outside. Check on neighbors, especially those who need extra help. Share accurate information and support your community. Science has given us foresight. Let's use it. By preparing now, we turn anxiety into action. We're not helpless, we're ready. Together we can face whatever the Cascades bring.